All right, we live. Boy, do we have a crazy show today. All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy hump day. Welcome in to the Wednesday live show. As we do this on a regular basis every single week. Right now, we've been sticking to a schedule of almost every single day, but mainly Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Anyways, if you all want to join in on the conversation and share your thoughts, your comments, or anything, or even disagree, I really don't care. But you guys can go ahead and comment, and we're gonna have the comments pop up. The last show, I actually kind of forgot about the comments because I was so focused on the content that we were reacting to. We had someone ask a question about why I believe Teslas are one of the best vehicles out here. But anyways, I'm going to make sure I put the comment section right in front of my face this time and make sure that nobody gets looked over. Okay. Anything else that needs to be covered, we will cover during the show. And I will answer any questions in the comment section as well. As we are in between segments. And today we have 4 different segments I'm really excited to talk about because not only is it pertaining to money and finances, but it's also some things that's going on in the economy as well. As Americans, the first topic we're going to go over is the Somali fraud that's happening in Minnesota. This has been blowing up, and actually they've been there was this YouTuber who did a better job apparently than some of the people who are in power that are supposed to find out things like this. I really want to know who's supposed to be responsible for this. And then the second topic we're going to go over is Americans and their financial decisions that have led them to ruining their savings account, ruin their lives by the financial decisions they've made. The third topic is going to be the new flu. And the fourth topic is going to be a black woman claiming that LuLuLemon, try saying that 3 times fast, LuLuLemon, racially profiling her. So anyways, we're going to get into the first topic. Make sure you subscribe if you like these type of videos. Let me know your thoughts and your concerns in the comment section down below. Let's get into the first video.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building.
Potentially the largest fraud scandal in US history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia.
I want to pause right there and explain and break down what GDP stands for. It's gross domestic product. So basically what they're saying is the fraud that's happening in Minnesota is almost matching, right? Is estimated stolen by scammers. All right. Is almost going to replace the entire GDP of Somalia, which means Somalia's, their market value, right? Meaning how they make their money in their country, in the region. I did some research earlier and they make most of their money through cattle, camels, goats, and American dollars being sent over there as well. So apparently these scammers that are in Minnesota that are Somalian, not speaking for all Somalian people, of course, but they have reached the point where it's almost replaceable and matching the same value of Somalia itself, which is insane. Imagine scamming so much money out of a system that it's almost matching the market value of your country. That is insane.
These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the US taxpayers' expense. And in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked.
David.
How deep is this fraud
David.
here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these childcare centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all
Bro, they got the footage of the dude driving the van. Like, this is just one van. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things you just can't lie about. You know, and they're apparently working with the like the people who are in charge of Minnesota, like government officials. They're working hand in hand, bro. So let me be clear. This is not any type of hate towards Somalian people, right? This doesn't speak for all Somalian people, but this also speaks for our government officials that are crooked. This is insane, shiesty work right here. All right, and this is also taking away from taxpayer dollars. Like, this is exactly what's wrong with the system. The people are taking advantage of it, and they know they're doing wrong. And it's the same for people who use assistant programs and don't try to help themselves get off of it and just want to juice the system because they think that they're just getting free money when it's coming off the backs of American taxpayer dollars. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And this is 110% wrong. And I hope they get caught. I hope that everybody gets exposed who's been a part of this scheme. This just should not be happening.
this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali-owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research. And then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state Capitol.
All this paperwork right here.
Basically what he's saying is there's no cap in my rap. Like literally, he can't lie about this because these are the numbers that the Capitol has sent out. This is insane. And the fact that someone who isn't even working, he hasn't said that he's worked for the government or he's an official at all. He's able to do his own homework. All it takes is homework to find out this information. I can't wait until they start knocking on doors. That's where stuff is really going to get heated. I guarantee it. Let's see.
What are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed at the same address. And together, they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations, and even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And
what did I just say? Taxpayer money. It's not just falling out the sky. Like when these Somalians are in these illegal daycares or businesses that aren't really even servicing people, and they're not even making money, they're getting money from the government. It's on the backs of the people who pay federal and state taxes. And people, they don't want to start controversy, but this is what needs to happen. Things need to get dug up. Things need to get torn apart before it gets rebuilt. Things need to be magnified at this level. This is amazing that this is happening on a YouTube channel. This isn't a national broadcasting media network. This is a YouTuber. He's holding a DJI camera. Or for someone who did their homework, and they're going to go ahead. I want to go ahead and fast forward a little bit, but I want to see, how reliable this source is, right? Because it's not just enough just to go ahead and knock on doors and be like, hey, where's the money? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to know that this is actually something that's really happening before we get into that. By the way, if you like these type of videos, make sure you subscribe and like the content. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below as well.
problem is the people of the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation, and a lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
Now, you have no reason to have 22 businesses at one address. 22 at one address. Even in an office, you're going to have something that's different, like an office that hosts multiple businesses. Like you're going to have like office A, or you're going to have a change of numbers at one address is insane. That in itself probably isn't legal in the first place, especially when it comes down to childcare.
And the government knows about this.
The government knows they're writing the checks. Yeah, the Democrats over there just writing the checks. What has happened is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And
so we got two things in this little segment right here. One, they're a closed-in community, so they're very knit. They're tightly knit, right? So these politicians know that they can have a huge advantage if they gain their vote. And then they're Democrats. Now, Republicans and Democrats, neither one of them are Republican. Neither one of them are innocent. But how many people always complain about how Republicans want taxes and they should tax the rich, but they don't want to? And then you got the people who are Democrats and they say, oh man, the Democrats are for us. They're trying to lower everything. And bro, they're stealing money from you in the first place. I haven't heard one person celebrate them having to pay taxes. The fact that you have to pay taxes and they're using it in fraud and scam and they're allowing it, that should tell you about something, man. I always tell people whenever they talk about finances and it comes down to Democrats, oh, the Democrats, they're for us. They want lower taxes and they're trying to help us afford a better lifestyle. And listen, bro, the prices of stuff has always gone up. That's not even their problem to handle. You just need to be making more money, and you ain't going to be complaining about how quick the prices are going up because you're going to be so focused on what you produce off of what you're spending. That's the first problem right there. And it's not their responsibility for you to end up making more money. It's just not. The second thing is Democrats always, like, especially black people, always try to target people who feel like they deserve more. It's always a contemplation between the have or have nots. That's always what it is. All right. But like I said in the beginning of this video, things need to be torn down before they can get built back up. But nobody wants to talk about this. I haven't heard any Democrats talk about how, man, they really screwed us over. You know, maybe they're not as innocent as we thought they were. Maybe they're not as for us, right? A lot of people like to stay on a Democratic plantation, and it's sad. I mean, you can't agree with every single thing that a party does, but this is just the sad truth we live in, man. They're scammers on both ends. You get what I'm saying? But I don't stand for this at all. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like these type of videos.
That's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud. And they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Walz saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? Nothing. You got organized crime? What are you doing? This is the Minnesota law, which
So sounds like Tim Walz is one of the people that are responsible. I'm wondering if he's the governor of that state.
States that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state employee must report that fraud. It's Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9. Not only that, but Walz is also guilty of misconduct of a public employee. When I look at the world as a whole and I look at fraud, the Twin Cities is ground zero. The fraud is worse here than anywhere else ever in history. Anywhere.
We're going to go confront these people. We're going to go to these daycare centers. We're going to see what's actually happening.
This is where it's going to get good.
We have to be careful because these people are very violent. They're exceptionally violent.
Now, with all of David's evidence, we headed out to the streets of Minneapolis to see how much fraud we could uncover.
Yeah, so Tim Walz is definitely one of the people who are responsible for this fraud happening in Minnesota. Tim Walz is the 41st governor of Minnesota. He is the Democratic Farmer Labor Party. He was elected in 2018 and reelected in 2022. These are the people that they voted for. Democrat, right? Like, whenever, like, there's so many arguing points about Democrat and Republic, but just going back to research, before becoming governor, he served as a U.S. representative of Minnesota's 1st congressional district from 2007 to 2019, and he previously worked as a high school teacher and football coach and served in the Army National Guard. So he's a former high school teacher and football coach and served in the Army National Guard. He's scamming. If this stuff is like, people love to talk about Trump. Oh, you know, get him out of here. He's a felon. And then what about your Democrats, man? What about your Democrats, man? In 2024, he was also selected as Kamala Harris's vice presidential running mate. A scammer, a straight scamming. He might as well have a shiesty mask on. He's a professional YN. A professional YN with a suit and tie.
In one afternoon. Where are we going now?
We're going to a place called Mako Child Care, which actually has another child care registered at the same address called Mini Child Care Center.
So we should see lots of children if there's this child care center, especially if there's two.
The two of them combined are licensed for 120.
And how much money have these child care centers received?
None of those vans had moved in 6 months. None of them. In 2020, one of them received $1.3 million. In 2021, they got $987,000. In 2022, they got $714,000. That's the last I have for that one. And then the other one, 1.604 million in fiscal year 2025. Fiscal year 2024, they got about 800,000, and in fiscal year 2023, they got $904,059. This place right here. Yes.
We're outside of it.
Well, this is
$5,242,191 in fraud. Because they pretend to be a daycare. These type of people need to be removed from the country. Or jailed. They just do. It's not an easy conversation to have, but the truth is the truth. You stole that much money? If you're scamming for that much, there's no way you can pay that back. Cuz you're not even making legit money. Like, what do you do with somebody who scams for that much? And it's multiple people. It's probably hundreds, it's probably thousands of people.
actually 2 daycares are registered here. One of them is Mako, which you see on this sign. The other one is Mini Child Care Center. And between the two of these child care centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year. And there are no children. Every facility that you go to, the windows will be blocked out so you can't see in. There's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
There are indeed no windows. All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
5%.
And the child care center is locked. Should we ring the doorbell? Try to get in, ring the doorbell. Nobody showed up. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet there's absolutely nobody here.
I read on Twitter that people were like, what daycare is from 7 to 10 p.m.? And you could say, yeah, parents can get off late or whatnot, but we're going to find out later on in this video, right, what's actually going on. Because numbers don't lie. They just don't. And those vans didn't move. They've never seen children come out of them. This guy has been doing his homework. This is the type of stuff where you really have to question yourself and ask, why haven't they seen these things? Why aren't they opening the door? Why don't I see children? Why aren't the vans being used? Why are they earning money as a daycare center? And you see no symptoms of being a daycare center besides the name on the building. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below, man. I've already drawn my opinion. Scamming. Straight scamming. And fraud.
And this building here, right here, has generated millions of dollars, and it seems like business isn't even open right now, and it's a weekday. And if this was a daycare center, it wouldn't just be in some industrialized building. There would be maybe like a playground or something outside, or...
There's no play area for the kids. So where are the kids? Where's anybody? How can there be nobody here? And it's like this every single day. I've never...
So they also not working, y'all. They're also not working. Like, they got these daycares with no children making $3 million a year. Don't drive the vans. They just getting paid money, bro. They're not working. They're not contributing as a citizen of the United States, if they are citizens. And this ain't speaking for all Somalians. It makes it look bad, It makes Somalian people look bad.
Never seen a single child here. In 9 years, I've never seen a single child at this building. Right there.
Oh, then now it looks like we already got the Somalis coming through.
Yeah, they're coming. The word's out.
Hello, is this your daycare?
No. Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
I'm not sure. I don't...
Doesn't know if she's ever seen a child here. All right, let's go to the next location. Now we're going to the next daycare center. How much money has this one generated?
This one, in fiscal year 2025, $1,042,059. In fiscal year 2024, $1,059,078. And in fiscal year 2023, $727,336.
This next one is literally one block away, and this one's also generated nearly $3 million in the past 3 years. Let's see if there's any children. Let's see if any of the buildings are open. Here we go. All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out. Let's see if anybody is here. This door is locked.
Seems as though they love blacking out windows so you just can't see where your child is gonna stay. I've never seen a daycare where it's like been blocked out. Let me know. Have you? like that's the first thing right there. You know, I remember about 2 years ago, I was getting my car inspected way in the country, because it was my like a family friend that does car inspections at his garage, and you know he has the license to do so and such. But I remember sitting in line with my car, and I seen this old abandoned building, and I don't know if it had a sign on it or not, but it had all blacked out windows, and I wasn't able to see what ethnicity the people were, but they were people of color, and it looked like they were staying there. It looked like they was living there. Now, I'm not saying they were doing anything illegal, but I was like, why is it all blacked out? Like, that looks like an old grocery store. Like, are they allowed to live in there and stuff? Like, I don't even have cell phone connection where I'm at, so it was just impossible for me to even like do research on the area. But like, it really made me raise an eyebrow. I was like, what are they doing in there? And the only thing I could think of was like living in there, you know. But I'm like, in that commercial. In that commercial, can you live in commercial? You get what I'm saying? Unless it's something I don't know about it, but
Facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never seen a child here, ever. The only thing I've ever seen is someone standing outside smoking.
What's crazy about this is that last daycare center is that green building right there. And the other daycare center right now is right here. These buildings should be operating as they're receiving literally millions of dollars.
yo,
I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door. Hello? Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare. And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, there has to be some parents who probably looked up a business or a daycare and was like, I need my child to stay somewhere, right? While I'm at work. Like, have they never got encounters like that? This is insane. This is insane. And this just needs to be cracked down on. No if and or buts. There's like, how they don't even open the door, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all you like, bruh. It's just making them look even worse.
Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which says it's licensed for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Once again, I try to find a spot for my son Joey, and they would not open the door. I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cuz I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million.
Like, bro, don't act confused, bro. Don't act confused, bro. When you work somewhere, you know exactly what you do, how much you make. You know the if and where and abouts. You know who, where, who, where, what, when, and why. You know what I'm saying? Playing dumb does not make you look good. It don't make your people look good. This is getting exposed, man, and I'm glad that it's happening because taxpayers should not have to pay taxes when stuff like this is happening. It should go to a more reasonable cause if you're gonna get taxed at all. You know, one of the things that made me like laugh is like how people who have this mindset of, oh, the rich need to pay more taxes. Bro, the taxes that you already are paying, this is happening with, at least in Minnesota. This is what they're doing with it. This is what they're doing with it. Oh, tax the rich. Tax the rich. First, let's fix how your taxes are being spent in the first place. Because taxing the rich, just because they have more money and you think that they should pay more, doesn't solve the problem that these people are living in your state and committing fraud. You walking by scammers, driving by scammers while you're making an honest living. They're taking your money you work hard for and just living off of it because they're telling the government they have a legit business and the government officials in Minnesota want to win their vote. This is exactly what's happening.
In fiscal year 2025, it says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. Kids there. What's
How
up?
many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
No! You're a liar. I'm the owner.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare?
No.
There is one child in there. Yeah, I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm
Their
scared
child.
you too. How come I explain you everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
No.
you said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist. So right now,
This is my
they're all
tax
getting
money.
mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business being registered as a business. 74 children,
I've
no
lived my
children.
whole life
We
here.
saw one child when the lady opened up the door.
So
But now
where did
they're
this
all
money
getting mad.
go? What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on?
Bro, this needs to stop, bro. This needs to stop, bro. You need to get these government officials who have allowed this to happen. They need to get them out of office. They need to pay the money back. They need to be incarcerated. They don't need to be in office again. Again, we did research on Tim Walz, an ex-high school teacher, football coach, Army National Guard. All respect to the people who have served in the Army and the military. Like, all respect to that. But like, bro, this doesn't make anything right, bro. An ex-high school teacher and football coach and someone who served in the Army National Guard is scamming Americans. Scamming their own people. And you fought for this country.
There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the
not my
owner
proof.
if you're
That's
telling me
not
to
my
talk
proof.
to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children? Are these children missing?
You go, child.
It's
You
not
go,
my
child.
business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good day.
As we continue to show the blatant fraud that was taking place here in Minnesota, Somalis started following us around the city.
And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center. Absolutely no signage. And there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They said they spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Man, what do you think about the fraud that's
God, bro, what is she doing? Karen, get out the video. What the hell? I thought it was a Somali. Bruh. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Ice, bruh. For real? For real? This is nowhere near ice. They don't even have vests on and stuff, and they're not covering up their faces. They got ice. The only ice in this video is the ice that's on the street. What you talk, bruh? Somebody got to get her out the video, bro. Get her out the video, man. What?
taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children?
Don't open up!
And
Somebody get their wife. Get their wife, get your grandma, get your mom. Somebody get them out the video, please. She wants to be seen and she wants to make a cause and she don't even know what they doing. I hope that I hope she's going to actually listen and comprehend what's going on right now.
$4 million over the
Open up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're not welcome here!
Are you?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Alexa, play Wanna Be a Part of Something by Michael Jackson. Alexa, never mind. Never mind. Alexa, never mind. I actually got Alexa in the background. So yeah, she really want to be a part of something, man. What? Make sure you leave your comments in the comment section down below and subscribe if you like the content.
Shame on you!
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has quality learning
Alexa, stop.
center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's ice!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children right here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
Says 99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? Did they run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare?
It's actually really sad that a YouTuber can do more homework and bring people out and expose the fraud that's going on with someone who actually is knowledgeable and been studying the fraud than what the government officials have been doing or the people who are responsible for it. I'm actually interested to see who's responsible for figuring out fraud of the government in these states.
Care center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in here.
We're gonna educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
99 children.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that here.
seen a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
8
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
And how does that make you feel knowing that this place is receiving
Disgusting.
$1.9 million?
It's disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant, too.
Democrats. Elected official Democrats in office stealing taxpayer money because they want to be in office, because they want money.
That's, if they get caught for that's a federal offense. I know, I studied law.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
That's him doing this? Well, heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's a parking lot.
And look, they even spelled learning wrong on their sign for a place that's supposed to be educating children.
That's crazy. I mean, who runs it? Who supposedly runs it?
Somalians.
Oh my god. Well, where? Yeah, it's just. I've never seen nobody here at all.
So how long have you been living here?
Since 2017. 2018.
You've never seen a single child walk in that building?
No, not at all.
So this daycare center is literally just a place to traffic money. $1.9 million just this year alone. And this guy's been living here for 8 years and has never seen a single child walk through those doors. There's no windows either.
No.
And the only window they do have, the door, is blacked out.
Yep, I see that. I've never seen anybody go in there.
Within just a few hours, we nearly approached $20 million in fraud, and we headed over to George Floyd's neighborhood to expose.
This is insane, man. This is insane. They're adding up what amounts of fraud of daycares, quote unquote daycares, are not actually having children. $19 million in taxpayer money in just the state of Minnesota. $19 million. This is what your Democrats are doing in Minnesota. This is what your Democrats are doing in Minnesota. Taking money, stealing money. Not even taking it and stealing it are two different things. Taking it is like, you more upfront with it. We're going to take this. They take your taxes, right? Stealing it is taking it and then using it for something that they're not supposed to and then lying to you about it. But they have to put the numbers out there, which is exactly why this video was created, which is exactly how this fraud is going to become well known within the country. And I'm pretty sure this is going to create a domino effect about where it's happening in other places as well, not just Somalis.
More of the fraud taking place.
This place is called Future Leaders Early Learning Center, and it's licensed for 90 children. And in fiscal year 2025, they received $3.6 million. In fiscal year 2024, they received $3 million. So in 2 years, they got $6.67 million, claiming they have 90 children every day of the week, 5 days a week.
I mean,
So let's
these
find
people
out.
are making just about more money than NBA athletes.
And we don't even know if they're paying taxes, but we don't know where this money is going. Is it going to terrorism? Where is it going? But it's theft, it's fraud. And the reason I'm involved is I want it to stop. I care about Minnesota. I'm doing this for the people of Minnesota. I don't make a dime off all this time I've spent on this. I put my life at risk several times, but I'm determined.
Yeah, so if you want to watch the rest of this video, I will link it down below in the description down below. This is very, not only entertaining, but very disturbing, just knowing that, these government officials are wrongfully taking taxpayer dollars and paying people, so basically paying them a compensation so they can continue to win elections. And I'm pretty sure there's more underneath that as well. But again, if you want to watch the full video, then the link will be in the description down below. And shout out to this guy, man. I want to get his name right. It seems like his name is Nick Shirley. Shout out to Nick Shirley. Because I know this was not easy, man. Confronting people that are more violent and doing it for content. You just want to put the content out there, but you got to get the truth for the people. And he's doing his job. He's doing it really well. The fact, one of his last points that he mentioned was, some of them are making more than NBA players. Imagine doing so much fraud, you making more than an NBA player, bro. Like, it's just, and again, the gross domestic product, the GDP of Somali is a certain number. And these frauds the fraud that is happening in Minnesota, not 50 states, but just in Minnesota, is almost matching the GDP, the market value of their own country or region. This is one of the biggest problems in America. The people who abuse the system and are criminals, not just Somalis or some of the Somalis who are doing this, right? Because it's not all, but it's also these government officials who are just as guilty. Just as guilty. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic, which is a lot less political, but it is definitely something that needs to be discussed, which is financial decisions of Americans and how it's ruining their lives. Now, before I got these videos ready for you all, I wanted to make sure this wasn't just some basic segment, right? That's literally something that's just like, oh, well, I'm in credit card debt. I wasn't trying to create a segment for you all like that. It was more off of like deep shit. So this is actually going to it might be surprising off of what people go through when they ruin their lives financially and how they got into that situation. We got someone who commented, Steal Yo Bay said, bro, you don't understand. This childcare is just one small thing. 100%. I'm pretty sure it's just one small thing, you know? But this is just one of the things that was probably a little bit more quick to tear apart, because not only can you visit these centers, and not only are these centers supposed to have children, and not only are these centers supposed to be using their vans, but it's also, you can look up their hours, you can look up the business on the internet. There's a lot of homework that you can do. And this one guy looks like he's been doing a lot of research specifically on these daycare centers. So I'm really encouraged to see what other things get torn apart with other people who have been doing the research. Because you know, if it's one person that's done the research, it's another person who's done research in another area as well. You also said they have food stores. One husband has 4 wives with 4 kids each getting food stamp. Whoa. Now that's insane, which is kind of like what I said in the beginning of the show. I told you all that there was this old mechanic shop that, you know, my mom's side of the family was born in the country. So whenever I got my car inspection a couple years ago, I would go away in the country and get my car inspected. And I remember this abandoned grocery store that was always blacked out. And I remember people walking in and out of it, but it looked like a family. And I was like, yo, I hope they're okay and whatnot, you know? But I did some research while we was watching this, and I'm like, it's not legal for people to live in a commercial area unless they have some type of license to do so. But most of the time, it's not. Getting funded to home care, they're older, and bring all elderly and have fake home care programs. Criminals, bro, and government officials in certain states are allowing this to happen. So this isn't just Somali people. This is also your government officials. We just saw it in Minnesota. Democrats are allowing this to happen. They're allowing this to happen. And people always love to say tax the rich. But what about the taxes that are already coming out that are being used as fraud? They're being used as fraud. We could talk about this all day. Stelia Bay also said all the EBT is funding their restaurants. And we covered EBT about 3 weeks ago, talking about how people use it at ABC stores. People use it at, you know, they use it for obviously junk food. That's about to be something that's going to get cut off literally tomorrow. All right. And in at least 18 states from what I read from the source. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that are uncovered. And like I said, in order to build things back up, especially with the economy and taxes and whatnot, things have to get torn apart. People are going to be angry. But honestly, when people don't do their homework off of how their taxpayer dollars are being spent, they don't know any better. They just don't. They just don't. You know, I talk to some family members sometimes and I'm like, so why don't you want to know where your taxpayer dollars are being spent? It's like, oh, I don't really care. I don't really know. But I've never heard anybody celebrate taxes being taken out of their paychecks. So if you're not happy about it and it's still going to happen, why not find out where your money is being spent? And you know why most people don't do it? Because they don't track how they spend their money they can control. They don't even do that. So why would they check to see how the government is controlling their money or where it's being spent at? It's insane. It's insane. Make sure you subscribe if you like this type of content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We're going to have the next topic, which is the financial decisions of Americans and how they got into these situations where their lives are ruined because of their financial choices.
I feel so nervous about sharing this, but I know I have to. The message is loud. So yeah, as the title says, I am currently and have been for around a year now, literally the worst financial position that I've ever been in. And I've been thinking today, like, what really set it off? I worked for myself and I was doing so well. I was getting higher and higher. And then it was just like all of a sudden, I've just got goosebumps. All of a sudden, it just went to shit, should we say. But it was started more internal. And what I think it's from is last year, I was really diving into like childhood stuff and therapy and like really trying to, you know, move through things. I had like really shitty, bad, repressed, whatever memories come up. And I didn't have the emotional support. I've realised I really didn't have the emotional support to help me move through that. And it was like deep stuff, you know, dark stuff. And I feel like still to this day, I'm still trying to like, what do I do? I'm a single mum. So again, like, you know, if you're a fellow single mum, you don't really have, I'm always on, like, I'm always just on. And I've noticed a year now, so a year, I've just been in this, like, survival mode. Now, more than that, my boy's 4.5 years old. Like, even all my life, I felt like I've been in the survival mode. But, like, this past year, because I went a bit, like, cuckoo last year because of all the shit that's coming up, but I didn't really have the emotional.
All right, as she's getting to her point, it sounds like she went through a lot of emotions and trials and tribulations in life, which usually happens to everybody, right? But we have our periods of growth and we have our periods of, hey, we need to go ahead and slow down and look at where we're at and then make an adjustment. The thing that I have to say about this before we continue on is that when you are self-employed, which she explains she is, people don't give a damn about your feelings. Business doesn't give a damn. Business is literally like war. And I'm saying this from experience. I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years. For the past 3 or 4 years of my life, I was full-time entrepreneur, making money online, creating content. But I ran into a problem. I, myself, was too happy with how I spent money. And I was going through emotions, but I always had the grit and the work ethic. The problem with this and what I'm hearing from her is that she let her emotions get to her head. In business, in life, if you ever want to accomplish something big that most people don't have, which is being self-employed, being in the best shape of your life, having a ton of money so you don't have to always work and trade your time for it, 9 to 5 isn't bad. I'm just saying, like, you can make multiple streams of income and make a living from that as well, but you have to work your ass off. Emotions, you gotta separate them from your decision-making skills. You just do. And it seems like she's going down this rabbit hole of about to explain about why everything went wrong and why she is in a bad financial spot in life. But let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. What do you think her issue is? Let's go ahead and continue.
Support and capacity to deal with it. I shut business down, and obviously that really affected my finances. And I've just been
What did I just say? Emotional decisions. She shut her business down. Emotional decisions. Something was going wrong. Emotional decisions. She's a single mother. I can only imagine how hard it is for her to not only be self-employed, but remove your emotions from your decisions, especially as a businessman or a businesswoman, right? It's not for the weak. It's not for the faint of heart. I hope she didn't quit her business, but hopefully she learned a lesson among this.
Chasing my tail ever since. And I'm just like, am I going to get out of this? Am I going to get out of this? I know that I will. But like last year, my landlord sold the house and I had to move. Like I've fully left Manchester and I'm living in the country now, which is amazing. And I'm so glad it happened. So I'm now in a better environment to receive abundance. But now it's like my mind, because like I said, any money that I'm getting, it's going straight back out. I'm like getting back on my feet to the debts that I owe and shit like that. And I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, she's playing catch up, you know, and I love the accent. But anyways, shout out to her for being transparent, because while you're going through it, it's definitely hard to share. I tried sharing it while I was going through it, but that ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, nah, man, I need to put my face down and grind, figure out something else that's going to work. And honestly, this is exactly how this show was birthed. I used to sell digital products, ebooks, courses, and mentorships. And it wasn't because I was just one of those people who sold courses. The way my entrepreneur journey started was by selling fitness programs online that I built for people, customized for them to lose weight and build muscle and be confident in their bodies, because I was in shape and I still am. But it then elevated to me falling in love with business. And I'm like, whoa, I can teach people how to turn something that they love into something that they can make money from as well. And that went left, right, up, down, and whatever. And so it tore me apart, but it also helped me realize that you're not as good as you think you are. And so you got to return back to this 9 to 5. And it's not because you can't have a business, but it's also because you have to be able to know when to not only create something that people want to invest in, but you also have to know how to attract eyeballs and audience. If you have no people watching you, you're not going to have people buying from you. But yeah, so Still Your Bay, I do see your comment. I'm going to go ahead and cover that in the next segment. But just go ahead, let me know in the chat, and I'm going to read all chats at the end of this segment after we cover the financial decisions ruining American lives. All right, let's go ahead into the next video.
I trusted the wrong people with my money and I lost everything. So I received a settlement from my mom passing away due to a drunk driver like a few years ago, and I had it set up in kind of like an account that'll help me grow with the money instead of working against me. I was convinced to take the money out from people I thought that I could trust. I invested in different businesses that they had and the services that they offered. There was a situation where a contract was involved, and I should have made sure that there was contracts for every business dealing that I had with them. I regret that now because they haven't paid me back for everything that they have owed me. So this has led me to being homeless and losing my apartment that they convinced me to get. It's led to my car being repossessed that I absolutely loved. And now I'm in a mental health facility to try to catch my footing because I felt like I couldn't really catch up to where I wanted to be. And I am now with a therapist who has been trying to help me move on from all of this. And I just wanted to bring attention to this of my story to help anyone who has been in a similar situation or has started noticing signs of it all, and to kind of bring you along my healing journey of working on myself.
Wow. So that was a lot. But I didn't understand like how the hell did she...
I regret that now because they haven't paid me back for everything that they have owed me. So that there was contracts for every business deferred. There was a situation where a contract was involved, and I should have made sure that there was contracts for every business dealing that I had with them. I regret that now because they haven't paid me back for everything that they have owed me. So this has led me to being homeless and losing my...
So she made a bad business move. But also what I want to cover is she did explain, and I'm not going to show it on the screen, but she did explain in her TikTok video. I want to be clear that I take full responsibility because I recklessly spent a lot of money on stupid things when I turned 18. But that isn't what put me in this spot I'm in currently. It was for me trusting my therapist and her daughter. I say this with a genuine heart because I feel for her. Like, you can get scammed out of like contracts and stuff, especially if you don't have a lawyer to back you up and read over certain things, right? A paralegal is very important for you to have, but at least she's taking responsibility. I do respect that. But never take business advice from people who haven't ever had a business. And even though the therapist is a business owner, right? Don't take advice from people who you don't want to be like. like it's funny, but it's not funny, but it literally makes sense, right? If you want to, like, what's the quote? It's like, you don't teach what is it? You don't ask a fish how to fish. You ask a fisherman how to fish. Why? Because that's the thing or the person that's catching the fish. A fish is going to tell you, well, yeah, my friend got caught up on a hook last week. You know, he thought it was a real piece of food, but he bit it and it was a hook. Right? But the fisherman's going to be like, this is how I put the worm on. This is the type of worm I get. This is the type of bait I get. This is where I go. This is the spot. This is how long I wait. Like, he's going to have so many more things to tell you what to do, but more importantly, what not to do. A lot of people look at mentors as people who, you know, are going to guide them on a path, but really it's about what not to do because there's so many options to do. Right? But shout out to her for being responsible because I know it's not easy going through being scammed, man. Somebody taking your money. That ain't right. But she also said and admitted that she made unresponsible decisions with her money. Unresponsible decisions with her money. I don't know if we've all been there. I've definitely been there. Definitely been there. Definitely been there. Just last year, I'm speaking the truth. Just last year, I was in such a bad financial state that I owed like $5 to $6 grand just because a car broke down. My car needed help. My car needed work. My girlfriend's car needed a new engine, and we had to pay rent. And it was just a mess. $6,000 just wiped me out. All praise to the Most High. I have that money now, you know, but it took me moving back home with family, It took me decreasing my living expenses. It took me getting back into the 9 to 5, and it took me getting back into my business. It was not easy, and Ubering, but all praise to them, and cutting grass in the neighborhood my parents live in. Like like coming from being an entrepreneur, living on my own, getting my first apartment, paying all the bills, not because my girl is like that, but literally because I believe I just want to be a resource of being a provider. You know what I'm saying? She did pay for some bills, but it was just like, dang, bro, I was there. Now I'm here. Now I feel like I'm restarting back over again. But how many of us have felt like that in the past? You get what I'm saying? Like, your lowest isn't the lowest that somebody else has experienced. So always remember that.
I am almost $1 million in debt. I am almost $1 million in debt. It's both good and bad, and my emotions kind of are in a weird spot with it because it's like I've worked so hard to get everything that I have, and I'm giving my children a great childhood, but I'm almost $1 million in debt. Me and my husband work really hard to have everything that we have, and our kids are getting the childhood that we could have only wished for. But also, this isn't how I want to live. I don't want to live in the stress, So doing this journey and taking accountability and really looking at our finances and trying to get out of debt is such a big priority to me, especially with my
It kind of reminds me of when my mother taught me about trouble. It's easy to get into, hard to get out of. And that's the truth. Debt is easy to get into and hard to get out of. 100%. 100%. Getting $1 million in debt is insane. And I was actually surprised by the comments in this because I'm like, bro, like this doesn't make any sense. But some people were actually trying to justify her debt. Right here, hopefully you guys can see this on the screen, right? Actually, that's way too much. Let me go ahead and zoom out. Someone said the misconception that we work really hard to give them what they have. No, you went into debt to give them what they have. Now you need to work hard to get out of debt. Now that's a statement. That's a statement. That's the truth, man. Again, this is one of the things where we talk about on this channel where so many people get into debt. And it's because they believe they can afford the thing when they can only afford the payments. A lot of people correlate. I can afford the payment, so I can afford the thing. That's the biggest lie that Americans have been told. If you can afford $200 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, you can afford the thing. This is one of the reasons why I'm not a big advocate of being a homeowner if I can't pay for the home in cash. And some of you may own homes for your own different reasons, but that can't be me. Because taking on hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt, hopefully it's a house involved somewhere in her $1 million, because I don't know what the heck you had to borrow $1 million for. I only know one person who's gotten a home for $800,000 and some change a couple years ago. And it was an ex-girlfriend and her parents. And she told me how much her parents' house was. And I was like, that's $1 million. I thought they were rich because I didn't know anything about debt or credit or money management. I was like, damn, they got a lot of money. They were not making $800,000 a year, man. They just weren't. They just weren't. And that's the only people who benefit from being in debt are people who leverage it to make more money or the banks. Bottom line, people who leverage it to make more money are the banks. Still Your Base said they don't account for the 30% tax off the top before you spend. 100% taxes. Not only that, but you also have the interest rates. You're giving someone free money. I don't care how well the payments are. You're giving someone free money. And now we hear they're trying to pass mortgages to be 50 years. I'm 27 years old. I'm going to be 77 on a 50-year mortgage. It's not happening, man. That's not happening. Someone else said giving your kids a great childhood by going into debt is not actually helpful to them. And there was another comment that I had read earlier. I'm trying to see if I can find it, but somebody was actually trying to justify like $1 million in debt. But anyways, we get the point, right? Debt is not good, especially if you're using it to be a consumer, unless you're going to pay it off all in full and pay little interest. But at that point, it's just like, at what cost? You know, giving them the life we never had is not a gift. If it's at the cost of you ripping your lives apart and owing people more money than what you actually used. Tariq, are you my old fitness client, bro? That's a quick question for you, real quick. I had an old fitness client from my online business. His name was Tariq as well. But Tariq said same thing with newer cars and have $700 plus monthly car notes. It's insane. Like, I got a car note. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna give y'all the real, man. But I'm paying that thing off quick. You know what I'm saying? My car note's $590. Interest rate is not cute at all. But it's because I never borrowed. Like, when I had my businesses that were making money, I didn't need credit. $6,000 weekends. I was just spending money recklessly. And it's my first car. I didn't report my apartment to the bureau, so my credit score didn't really go up or anything. I've only had a credit card be like $2,000. What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Shout out to Tariq over here. But yeah, I've only had a credit card limit up to $2,000. I've never really borrowed money from credit cards and stuff. So we are working on paying that thing off quick. Like, I'm doubling my payments, even very close to tripling my payments, so I can just get it paid off in a year. All right, we're going to go ahead into the next video. Make sure you subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section down below.
I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live. 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment and an extra $300 a month. Like, it doesn't cover my phone, internet, food, you know? So not only do I not have any extra money, but just working makes me so exhausted that I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30, come home, I'm just so tired. Anything that I need to do outside of work, I then just push off to like the weekend, and I'm like, I'm just too tired to do this after work. I'll wait until Saturday. So then I end up with so much to do on the weekend that ends up having to be split into 2 days. So I have to do stuff on both Saturday and Sunday.
I felt sad for her in the beginning, but did she say that she's only working 40 hours a week? Did she say she's only working 40 hours a week? Because obviously, you got time. You got time. Making $2,000 a month and her rent $1,600. She needs to move back home. Or at the least, have a roommate if she can't move back home. And I agree with you right here. Still Your Bay said, bro, kids are moving out too soon. 100%, bro. 100%. I can't tell you how bad I wanted to move out when I was 22 years old. When I was 22 years old, I was like, man, let me tell you how dedicated I was to moving out. My parents didn't kick me out, by the way. I was like, COVID shut down school. I was working on a computer science degree. I started making some money in the fitness industry by uploading content, selling fitness programs. It was cool and everything. I quadrupled my monthly income from working in IT. And I was making money literally from the same computer I'm working on right now online. And I'm like, I can move out. So I started saving up my money. My ego started to get a little high. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm going to save up my money and sleep on the floor. It was a way to punish myself and be like, hey, if I can't have my own apartment, I don't deserve to lay on the bed that my parents provided for me as I was a child. I got to move out. So I put that pressure on myself. And it was mainly because of social media. I let social media influence me that you need to move out quick. You need to become a man quick. And like, don't get me wrong. There are things that I need to be responsible over, but things that are not needed, like a fancy car or a lot of debt on a credit card or a home or moving out. I put that pressure on myself. Tariq said she did. So she did say she worked 40 hours. That's not enough. It's just not enough. We don't live in a world where you can work 40 hours and get paid $2,000 per month and live in a $1,600 apartment. Your problem is two things: your expenses and your income. You need to get paid more and spend less. Very simple. And this is what really pissed me off, the comment section. Check this out. I work 40 hours a week plus another part-time job. Yep, trust me, we know. I feel like I have no life. I'm tired, mad, and lonely. This is what it's like when you're in grind mode. I've had to accept this myself recently. I love doing the show with y'all, right? It takes a lot out of me though. I gotta plan the videos. I gotta show up online for 2 hours a day. I'm doing my best to show up 5 days a week. I also chop up the videos. I upload about 40 to 70, at least this week, 40 to 70 videos just on YouTube alone, all me. And that's not me tooting my own horn, but I am saying you're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel tired. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel mad. Because why? Because you haven't reaped the rewards yet. This is what it's like to be in the trenches. But it's also what it's like to have a better future, hands down. It's also what it's like to not be in debt and to not live paycheck to paycheck, bro. Mind you, I work a 9 to 5 as well. So people can come up with all these excuses, but the only problem is the excuses sound good to the person who's saying them. They sound best to the person who's saying them.
Come here, let's watch this real quick.
Y'all want to know the scariest thing, and it's happening to me now, is being a female, married. I'm 37. I have 2 kids. They're 5 and 7. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 10 plus years. I have no income. I have no money. I use my husband's credit card and I use my husband's money. And 2 weeks ago, he told me that he wants to move forward with divorce. Today, I literally, like, I use an American Express credit card for everything. It's got my name on it, but obviously he pays the bill. He told me he's gonna cut it off, and I gotta, like, move all the automatic payments and stop using it. And he said, you need to start using your own card now. What card? I don't have a card. That is my card. Terrifying. I mean, I feel like a little girl who needs their mommy because I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't, like, it's just terrifying.
So, not everybody.
Yeah, this is why I don't want no daughter. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you. I'd be like, Lord, when it's time for me to have kids, don't let me have no daughter. But there's lessons that need to be taught as well for people who have daughters. And, you know, if you are a daughter, like, you gotta have your own. You know what I'm saying? It's sad to say because it's like she's a mom and he's affecting the mother of his children. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, what is going on that would make you want to do that to the mother of your child or your children? But you always need some type of safety net. You do. It don't matter if you're a man or a female. You see, certain punches get thrown at females like this because a lot of females are taught, hey, just depend on the man. And hey, if you want to do that, cool, but it's also a risk. A lot of men, they don't end up in this position because we're looked at as the provider mainly, but a lot of men can fall victim to, again, going into debt, credit card debt, losing a job. We get thrown different punches and some get thrown the same punch. Man and woman can lose their job. It's not really even about the husband taking back the money. It's about what foundation did you build your financial institution on? Did you build it on something that you have to depend on, or did you build it on something that you have multiple streams of income rolling in? That's just the truth. I'm gonna read these comments at the end of the section. We got like 2 more videos, but if you like this type of content, make sure that you like and you subscribe.
Hey sis, I heard you were thinking about buying a house. I'm here to tell you not to. Don't do it. Don't do it, bitch. Let me tell you exactly why. Last night, I'm in my laundry room, minding my business, doing my laundry, you know, trying to be a housewife. I actually wasn't, because I wasn't even doing his laundry. I was doing mine. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. I'm walking on the ground. I'm like, why does it feel... I'm hearing this squish sound. This squish. It kept going... I was like, it sounds like water's under the floor. When I moved into my condo, there was already this little hump in the wood on the floor by the AC unit that is in a closet. And I was just like, oh, like, you know, the floors are where they are. Like, I'm assuming because I bought my home fully renovated that just, it comes with the house. This is just coming, this is with the territory. This is what it is. The floor is a little wonky. That was in 2022. You know, I go about my business as usual with my little warped floor. Charm. It's charming. It's charming to have a little bump in the floor, a little imperfection in the home. No. Apparently, my AC unit has been sweating and collecting water that has leaked under the unit, into the ground, into the floor. And I've noticed over the past month that that little hump has become a big hump, and that the floor has become a little more warped than usual. Listen, I'm just a girl. So yes, I can admit that I ignored things. I ignored things. If you know me by now, then you know that I have dealt with a lot of issues with my home since I moved.
So this is one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest on owning a home. Not every home is going to have these type of issues, but every home has an issue, just like every apartment has an issue. And the biggest factor between people who rent versus owning a home is people who own a home usually say, well, you don't own anything. You're just wasting money. When they don't count in the fact that things go wrong with their home that cost them thousands of dollars. Not only that, most people who say they own their home take out a home loan. So they don't really own it, because if you miss your mortgage, then you don't own your home. And then even after it's paid off, if you don't pay your property taxes, then they will take you out of your home. So you don't own anything fully when it comes down to an apartment or a home, because you still got to pay these things. Now, eventually, once the house is paid off, then yeah, sure, it'll be cheaper than an apartment. But the people who live in an apartment don't have to worry about things like, and I always say this, cutting grass, getting gas for the lawnmower, making sure that if anything is wrong inside, washing machine, dryer, the dishwasher, the pipes under the sink, things like that are going wrong, they don't have to pay for it. The drywall in the shower. I don't want to have to pay for those things. If you want to pay for those things just to say you own something, cool. But I call that keeping up with the Joneses. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. Because honestly, when it comes down to it, this is one of the things that get people in a financial trap. Oh, you know, you're a homeowner. Oh, you're a homeowner? Yeah, it's going to boost up my credit score. Bro, how many times do you have to use your credit score just to get things in life? Shouldn't that raise a concern? Oh, you got to have the perfect credit score. Don't get me wrong. Get a high credit score. But like most people focus on credit score because they either want credit cards, they either want a home, or they either want a car. Those are the three main things that I hear. What are the things that you hear about people wanting really good credit for? You want really good credit in order to borrow more money so you pay more interest. Hopefully you're not paying any interest on your credit cards, but a home loan, you can miss me with that. Because people they're not calculating the things that go wrong with a home, right? Just seeing my parents work on the home that they live in, I've heard them say, oh, the floor costs $5,000. Oh, this isn't working, so we got to fix this. Oh, that's $2,000. Oh, we want to expand the backyard. Oh, that's $3,000. You know, I'm not shaming them. They can look, y'all can make the choices that you want to make. I'm just listening to the people that are in the predicament that they put themselves in, and they're giving us a warning. I'm taking that as wisdom. You see, most of us, we're trained to learn from people who we want to be like. But what about the people who we don't want to be like? If I don't want to go through that problem, what do I have to do to prevent that problem? It's easy to look at somebody in an undesirable situation and be like, I'm glad I'm not them. Well, you can think that, but at the end of the day, it very well could be you if you don't learn what not to do. This is why I create these videos, because I'm like, I want to know what not to do. I want to share my thoughts and have you all see this as well, because it's not always as black and white as people make it seem. Oh, I own my home, so I can go ahead and I can decorate, I can do whatever I want, I can be as loud as I want. At what cost? Of being hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt? How many of y'all like paying student loans? I hate it. The government is about, not the government, the Department of Education, I think, is about to start charging or garnishing wages for people who had their loans on default. That means they're about to take your money before you even see your money out your paycheck if you have a defaulted loan, starting January 7th. And so people complain about student loans, but they want to borrow more money. A home costs more than going to college, or some colleges cost the same as getting a home. But this just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Tariq said the older generations crawled through the mud so we can learn to walk around it. 100%. 100%. Some people are happy with their homes, but listen, man. If you knew, I was so surprised when my parents started telling me about the times that they struggled before they had me. And I was like, man, y'all struggle? You know, because they're well off now. They're good. You know, they about to get into retirement age. But I'm like, man, you telling me that y'all struggle financially? I've never seen that part of their life. But I was so grateful to learn and hear it, because I'm like, well, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? But everybody goes through their own problems. I just don't want to have to go through homeowner problems. I'm good. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you still an advocate for being a homeowner or renting? Which side are you on?
Today was one of the roughest days I've ever had. My father, he's 67 years old. He worked as a veterinarian for 40 years, loves animals, super passionate about helping animals. My great-grandfather worked for 40 years, long hours for 40 years as a veterinarian. He was just scammed out of his life savings, just under 400 grand. I can't even believe it. He was giving me a ride down the street today, and we were just chatting. He asked how I was doing. I asked how he was doing, and he kind of hesitated a little bit. Eventually, I got him to open up, kind of tell me what was stressing him out. I could tell something was stressing him out. And he said his identity had been stolen, and that the IRS and the FBI were helping him to recover his identity and protect him from the downfalls of having your identity stolen. He continued to tell me that these scammers told him that the only way to protect his money, he had saved up a large retirement for himself. The only way to protect that money from these people, supposed people who had stolen his identity, were to liquidate all of his assets, buy gold bars, and hand these gold bars off to some people, some strangers who claim they're from the government, put it in a special account, and then once his identity has been protected, he'll get that money back. He did it. He emptied out his entire savings. 67, that's not the oldest person ever, but my father is tired. He's got some health issues. He is not fully capable of protecting himself, especially from online scams, things that test your mental. He's really no match for that. So he did it. He emptied out his entire life savings, just under 400 grand. He bought gold bars, and people came to his house and he handed them the gold bars, his entire savings worth of gold bars. That might have been 2 days ago now, 3 days ago. And he's just telling me now, but apparently he's been in contact with these people for 3 weeks, 3 or so weeks. I am just heartbroken for my father. We're taking steps with the FBI, with local police. I want to know, has anybody else dealt with this type of scam, with an elderly parent, with anyone? This gold bars scam, your identity has been stolen, so you need to take everything you own, liquidate it, and turn it into gold bars and give it to us, and we'll keep it safe for you and give it back to you later.
Yo, I was not expecting this to take a turn like this, y'all. That is sad. That is so sad that you got people out here taking from people who made an honest living, wiping out their savings account. Oh, close to $400,000, man. That is insane. That pisses me off. I don't even know how to help these type of people, but I looked up because I'm like, yo, they got the money. Okay, get the money, buy the gold bars. You get the gold bars. Are they trackable? Like, gold bars don't have serial numbers on them, right? I looked it up. Said gold bars themselves aren't hackable or trackable like a bank account or a crypto wallet, but gold ownership can still be stolen, counterfeited, seized, or made hard to sell depending on how you store and buy it. The main risks of getting gold bars is theft and robbery, especially if people know you have it. Counterfeit bars, bad sourcing and no paperwork, harder resale, and worse pricing, more scrutiny. Storage risk, liquidity risk, which is selling quickly, can mean spreads fees and sometimes reporting requirements. See, I told y'all this isn't going to be average videos of people who are making bad financial decisions. This is actually a situation where an elderly man got scammed, man. It's crazy to think that this is happening in our country. These folks went to the guy's house, had to look him in his face, man. And I'll be thinking to myself sometimes when people do stuff like this, when I hear stuff like this, I'm like, don't you have parents? Don't you have grandparents or somebody who loves you, who's older? Do you ever think about them in their position? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's heartless. It's heartless. You know, we can say the banks need more security and whatnot, but when people are scamming, they're gonna find a loophole. It's just like how people get mad about, you know, Trump or whatnot or whoever who doesn't pay as many taxes. Like, oh, well, they know loopholes. They pay a lot of money to these lawyers in order to have loopholes. And it doesn't necessarily make it illegal. It just makes it as to where they're not responsible for paying taxes for that lump sum of cash. So there's always going to be a loophole around, but we actually just covered a video yesterday. That was not yesterday, but Monday. It was the Klarna glitch that a lot of YNs are using to scam and borrow money and basically commit identity theft for Klarna and after paying a firm and whatnot. So I'm gonna be uploading that video later on today as well. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe if you like these type of videos. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section down below.
My mom's been broke as fuck since 1982. It's currently 2025. She's still broke as fuck. When I started my cycle, my mom was so pissed because she had to walk to the store and buy maxi pads, as if I asked God for me to start bleeding out my coochie. Okay? Poverty will affect your kids whether they speak to you as the parent or not. When your children know you have no car and you have no money, that is going to affect the experience they have as a kid. They're not going to be as willing and wanting to do extracurricular activities, develop hobbies, shit. They won't even develop a sense of style because you too broke to buy them clothes. And it's not even about buying brand new or super expensive things. It's just about enriching your child's experience. When all you can say that you've done for your child is provide them a house or a place to live, and a lot of times that shit is coming from Section 8 and they're in the projects, okay? And or providing them food via food stamps, as if this is shit you worked hard to give to them, you're doing absolutely nothing as a parent. And that is also why I am so against teen pregnancy.
I am so glad she said that. I was not expecting that. I was expecting her to have a sap story as to why she is in poverty, but she said what needed to be said. When you have kids and they see how you look at money, talk about money, they're going to copy and paste that. Why wouldn't they? They're a copy and paste of you, DNA wise. So why wouldn't they? A poverty mindset goes a long way, man. This is how generational curses are carried on.
because as a teenager, you have not even given yourself the foundation or even been given the foundation to build as an adult. And now you're starting a family. So now you're starting your kids in quicksand and y'all expect them to just climb their way out and be happy about it. Absolutely the fuck not.
100%. I 100% agree with her. And we're actually going to go in the comment section and see what people are saying, because they're crying a sap story, to be honest with you. But the truth is, a lot of people have a bad relationship with money. And they try to carry that over into the kids, not knowing that that's not going to help them in the long run. In the comment section, we got some people. Someone said, can we talk about how growing up poor gives you very bad shopping addictions later in life? I disagree with that. You can observe, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you will have a bad shopping addiction. You have to start it as well. And once you're an adult and you get to make your own choices in life, your parents aren't responsible for, they're not responsible for what choices you make. How many times have you seen someone who was raised in a household who doesn't act like they were raised in that household? That means they made their own choices outside of what they were taught, principle-wise. Someone else said, not being able to develop a sense of style or hobby and interest as a child is really not talked about enough. Sure. But I'll tell you this, growing up in middle school and high school, my parents bought my clothes and bought my shoes for me. I wanted the latest Jordans. They could definitely afford it. They didn't buy it for me. And I had to realize as I matured, I'm grateful for that. Because not only did I recognize that it's not about having the shiniest thing or trying to show off, it's about the necessities in life. Having a roof over my head. I thank God for my parents being able to provide that. I thank God for not being able to have to worry about, well, what's going to be for dinner when I was in high school and middle school or a child. You know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about hobby and interest and stuff, a child doesn't know what they need. They know what they want. You know, and most people, when they get older and they're adults, they start choosing things that they want and not what they need, which causes a habit of getting into debt, living paycheck to paycheck. And so they try to live out their dreams that they didn't have as a kid, when honestly, you're setting yourself up to be just like, maybe it was your parents that were actually not financially wise, or you're setting yourself up to be in poverty. So now you're downloading, or now you're installing your own mindset of poverty. You are. Money don't grow on trees. Of course it doesn't. But guess what? In the back of your head, you're just saying that money isn't abundant. And it is, because you keep spending it. Somebody else is taking your money. This whole show has been about money and finances. Somebody's getting somebody's money. And it's up to you to know where it's going, how you're going to spend it, how your living expenses are going to be, how much you're going to earn. It's your responsibility, nobody else's. And until you start taking responsibility over that, you ain't going to be happy about money. If you like this type of videos, make sure you subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, y'all. So that is the Wednesday live show. We're going to go live again tonight. We're going to cover two more topics, which is this new flu going around. And apparently a black woman claimed that LuLuLemon is racially profiling her, took her clothes, and they actually responded off of the social media lashback that's happened. So those are the two topics we're going to cover tonight. Unless something else crazy happens, we're going to add on to that. Make sure you subscribe if you like it. We're going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. After this week, it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. All right? I will see you guys on the next show later on tonight. I'm out, and I appreciate y'all for watching and liking and subscribing. Peace.